I would start with your latest book, Karuna, The Power of Compassion. I was just going through the prologue and trying to understand this latest publication from you. I understand you have decades of work behind you, and you are one of the tallest leaders in this field. You talk about compassion. You talk about compassion quotient. CQ is something that you have pointed out in this book as well.
Right.
I have heard about IQ. I have heard about EQ as well. What is CQ?
You rightly pointed out that the world is facing complex problems, lot of crises. But despite all the wealth and knowledge and power, the people are suffering. Planet is suffering. So I was thinking that what could be sustainable solution to these issues, because the situation is that whenever any solution is found, the problems are born out of solutions, and that is a very, very serious situation. People talk of, say, solving the poverty, GDP. Then all the policies and programs are driven in that direction. And GDP means more consumption, means more production, means more industrialization, and that means the earth has to suffer for that. So mineral, water, fresh air, coal, everything is utilized for industrialization, so that consumption and production and GDP can grow. So the planet is suffering because of that. So I realized that compassion is the solution. But my compassion, the definition of my compassion is different. It is not kindness, mercy, pity. It is not even sympathy or empathy. People put all these phrases in one basket. But I redefined and reinvigorated the power of compassion. So compassion is not a soft emotion or a value or virtue, but compassion is a force born from feeling the suffering of others as one's own suffering, and that force drives to take mindful action. In simplest word, compassion is mindful problem solving. So when I talk about compassion quotient, first of all, we have to understand that all of us are born with innate power of compassion. So consciousness and compassion are the two natural gifts or divine gifts. But we keep on losing the track on compassion because of all the upbringing, all the education systems, all the environment, socio-cultural, political environment. We have lost the power and importance of compassion as a transformative force. So if everybody is having compassion, we can measure it and then we can enhance it. So measuring the compassion and enhancing it is CQ, compassion quotient. IQ and EQ are very individualistic, but CQ is not, because CQ is determined on 4 core components and they are all measurable. The first one is awareness, taking cognizance of others' problems and sufferings. That is one. The second one is connectedness. We have to feel connectedness to each other, because the whole evolution of human civilization is driven by that tendency to be connected with each other. But that connection has to be genuine connection, so that we can go to the third part of it, and that is feeling. Feeling should be deep feeling, where you feel the problems of others as your own problem. And the fourth is action. So when you feel others' problem and it gives birth to a force, then that force becomes the problem solver. So compassion is force, compassion is action, compassion is problem solving. Compassion has enormous power to question the wrongs and injustices around us, and compassion also helps in finding answers. So CQ is something very new, but I'm confident that this is going to be the game changer, but it's also going to be something which everyone will apply in their lives. May it be making decisions about choosing partners and marriages, or may it be employing people in the corporations and in the offices. CQ would be the defining factor in the future.
Great. Sir, from Diya Salai, your autobiography that was revealed last year, to Karuna, how different is the power of compassion, Karuna, from your autobiography, and what was the inspiration behind this book?
So Diya Salai is autobiography, but in that it was clear that my whole life and my struggle, my failures and my success and everything which I could accomplish has been guided and strengthened and driven by the power of compassion. And on the basis of that, I started realizing that it is not just me. There are hundreds, thousands of people who brought transformation in the society, who fought for justice and equality and peace and sustainability. Their driving force has also been compassion. I am quite convinced that all the religions in the world were born out of the spark of compassion. When Jesus Christ, when Hazrat Muhammad Sahib, when Buddha, when Gandhi, when Mahavir, when Abraham, whosoever, Guru Nanak Dev, when they felt the suffering and problems of the masses so deeply as their own problems, own sufferings, they did not sit quiet. They did not overwhelmed and just gave up, but they have taken a conscious decision and action to fight for elevating those problems, those sufferings, and how the religions were born. And similarly, all the revolutions and social transformations, they were born out of the spark of compassion. So I thought that what the world needs today is compassion. And that was one of the reasons I have penned down some of my thoughts based on my experience, but also the experiences of other people. But then I realized that if we take compassion in the conventional manner, then the people think that it is just kindness or a good human quality, but this is not. So compassion is transformative, dynamic and disruptive force, because no other way we can solve the deep-rooted problems of injustice. It could be the gender discrimination, it could be the racial discrimination, it could be the hatred and violence in the minds and in the society that is growing and systematically being spread globally. We have to go to this new idea of compassion as force, as action. So this book defines all these details, and I also feel that there is a need of self-compassion also. Self-compassion will help us in many manner, because today's world has 1 out of 6 people having depression, isolation, different kind of mental stresses, and loneliness, primarily loneliness, that leads to several other issues. So, self-compassion will help in finding out the best friend inside everyone, and that best friend will help not to be dwelled or not to be overwhelmed with a sense of self-glory or self-criticism or self-worthlessness. So it will unbiasedly and objectively help in showing us the mirror, so that we can learn about ourselves and we can improvise every day, every minute. And then comes to the kin compassion. So today, when the family values are diminishing and the families are breaking, people live in this kind of aggressive competitiveness and competitions even in the families. So it will help in bringing together the values of familyhood, that is the kin compassion, and the social compassion. So in all walks of life, may it be judiciary or police, may it be politics or governance, may it be education and academia, as well as in health sector, everywhere, in all the organizations and institutions, we need the higher CQ, higher level of compassion, and that will help in creating a compassionate society and compassionate community. And finally, the fourth aspect of compassion is transformative compassion. As I said before, that there are very serious structural, systematic sufferings and injustices, and they can be solved only when we feel connected with those problems and those sufferers, and then with that force of compassion we take action.
Great. So you speak so strongly about compassion. You talk about having a compassionate society, a compassionate family. Yet we see in today's world how globalization is changing. How things are changing every other day. We see countries trying to larger countries, more powerful countries, trying to bully, if I may use the word, the other countries. For example, what we see, how the geopolitics, the scenario is right now. In this world where children are living in this environment, they are growing seeing this. Do you think it would impact their understanding of compassion? Do you think it would also impact their behavior if they see global leaders who once were considered, the epitome of, if I may say, the epitome of compassion, or giving other person the chance? Do you see something like that is not happening right now, it impacting children's behavior as well?
I don't think that the young generation today see those leaders as the epitome of compassion or goodness or honesty. Over the years, right, over the decades, these values and virtues have shrinked, or there is a serious deficit in those things. But in both ways, we see a lot of optimism. One is that there are good leaders in faith institutions, good leaders in politics, good leaders in all walks of life. Very few, but they are there. But their voices are not so loud. As we say that evil runs very fast and evil speaks loudest. On the other hand, goodness walks slowly, and goodness does not have that louder voice, so that is sometimes silenced. So in this case, we have to find those leaders in all walks of life, all societal situations. But on the other hand, young people, you are right, Nisharji, that is it not a shameful that 473 million, I say more than 47 crore children are living in war-prone areas where the violence, conflict, insurgencies are taking place. They are not responsible for any war. They are not responsible for any kind of this violence, but they are the worst sufferers. Young children, 47 crore globally. What is the fault of those children who are being killed in Gaza? Innocent children. Sometimes they die out of hunger. Food is there, but the food trucks are stopped at a distance. What is their fault? That they are injured, they are sick, and their medicines don't reach to them. It is stopped by those people. So children must not pay the price of what the adults do. Adults have to go for more compassionate diplomacy and compassionate dialogue. That is the need of the hour. So, say 138 million, more than 13 crore children are languishing in child labor and modern day slavery. Some of them are sold and bought like animals, or sometimes even lesser prices than the animals. Whose fault is this? This is our fault. And whose children are these? These are all our children. They are your children, they are my children. And until unless that sense of belongingness and connectedness with the children and sense of moral responsibility arises, I am sorry to say that no scheme, no law, no good words, no sermon can protect these children and their childhood. And that's why we have to globalize compassion. We have globalized markets, economies, data, we have globalized information, even we have globalized extremism, and that is growing very fast, communalism, all kind of things, global warming. But this is the time to globalize compassion. And if the Indians cannot take the lead, take the initiative in globalization of compassion, who have such a great history and legacy, who else will do? So we have to go for globalization of compassion.
So Satyarthi Movement for Global Compassion, as we're speaking about compassion, can you throw some light on the work that it does and how different it is from your previous initiatives, previous successful initiatives? How different is this, and how do you see it working for the next, let's say, 1 decade?
So, well, the roots and foundation of this new initiative or new movement, the Satyarthi Movement for Global Compassion, are my previous movements and campaigns and organizations, and of course learning what I have learned in that. But in all those efforts, I have realized that we have to deepen and expand the solution-oriented, sustainable solution-oriented approach. And children's issues cannot be solved in isolation. When the world is burning, when the people are ready to fight with each other without no reason, and the children have to pay the cost, then it is important, it is rather necessary that we have to look for more deeper and broader solution. And I found that it is possible only through launching a worldwide movement for compassion. So SMGC, the Satyarthi Movement for Global Compassion, has been widely supported in less than 1.5 years. It has been strongly supported by a number of Nobel laureates, peace laureates and laureates from other disciplines, world leaders, presidents, prime ministers, kings, queens, and former head of the state. So I am quite confident that our world is looking for some other alternate way of tackling or dealing with the present complex issues. And people started resonating with it, even the young people. I would always say that youth are filled with compassion and passion both. So their passion, their energy, their dreams should get a reason and a purpose to make the world a better place. And that is possible through compassion. So in universities and colleges and other places, wherever I spoke about my definition of compassion as selfless, mindful problem solving. They like it in the simple words, not as a philosophical thing or ideological or religious thing. So, compassion is a secular definition.
Right.
It is not related to any religion. As I say, that religious leaders and the faith institutions perhaps think that they are preaching compassion, but that compassion remains hollow if they do not understand that their mother, their seed, their first spark is compassion. They are born out of compassion and they should live compassion rather than they preach compassion. So preaching is not going to solve any problem until unless we live it in our life. We are not able to be compassionate. So compassion is not preaching, not teaching. I am not a preacher or teacher of compassion. I had made a way of life, and that's why, with utmost humility, I would say that everybody has that power of compassion, and we can remove the layers which have been put on it, and then we can definitely be a good human being and a good world.
Wonderful, sir. I was recently speaking to Sunita Krishnanji, yet another tall leader in the field of anti-human trafficking, and she portrayed a very scary situation in India. When I asked her whether technology had made it easier, to track people, to track these who are in human trafficking. But what she told me that the situation in the last few years has become more severe, and more children like they even don't know that who exactly is trying to traffic them. It's because it's an unseen enemy out there in the digital world. Do you see something similar happening, or how do you see the problem of human trafficking evolving in India?
Well, I have big respect for my younger sister Sunita Krishnanji, and she is one of the bravest fighter against human slavery and trafficking of girls in particular. So I agree with her that this is a situation, and trafficking is not a simple ordinary crime. This is an organized crime.
Exactly.
And there are many forces involved in it, because human trafficking is one of the most lucrative illicit trade in the world. So that is a global situation. And now it is cross-border. It is not just terrorism and other things are cross-border, but trafficking is the cross-border, and technology made it easier and comfortable and hidden, invisible. So the invisible hands are taking away young girls and young boys from the laps of their parents, and somehow they were taken to a situation where they cannot come back perhaps. So a lot of work has to be done in prevention. Lot of work is needed in India also for the prosecution and conviction of those people, and technology has to be used for it widely. We are very fast growing technology, and this place Hyderabad is the hub of
technology.
Technology and advancement in technology. So it is important that technology should be the savior for such children and such women and such people who are victims of human slavery and trafficking. It should not just remain in the hands of few people to earn more and more money and accumulate wealth using technology as a tool, but that could be a powerful tool when it is in the hands of those who believe in the freedom, dignity and justice of children especially, but all vulnerable sections of society.
Right, sir. So I would also take opportunity to speak about this recent controversy around Nobel Prize. How we see the world's most powerful person repeatedly demanding that he should be given a Nobel Peace Prize for all the wars that he has stopped. How do you see this? Do you see that it somehow sort of diminishes the prestige of the prize, the coveted prize? I mean, you
This
being
is
one of the laureates.
this is a funny situation, but I tell you one thing. In last few weeks, um, many people started knowing me and respecting me when they learned that, oh, there's an Indian, he's a Nobel Peace Laureate. People understood the value of Nobel Peace Prize bigger than being the President of United States of America. Otherwise, why he
After
he
it.
is after the prize? So it is good for me and good for many other Nobel laureates. So ordinary people understood the value of it. But everybody, everybody can do good work and get the prize. But prize should not be the end goal. When I received the prize, people asked me the question that now you have become the celebrity, you have become the first Indian-born Indian to get the Peace Prize and so on and so forth. But I said that this is just a comma in my life. This is not going to make an exclusive person, or a celebrity, khas aadmi, no. It is a comma in my life, so I will keep on working and fighting for my cause. I would wish that President Trump can get the Nobel Prize, but it requires other approach. It requires other mindset, as far as I know, other peace laureates. But I wish him all success in his life.
Great. Sir, if we come back to India, and I was going through a lot of speeches and interviews of yours. You spoke about Devli and that day that
Yeah.
you must have talked about it a lot of times. But I request you if you could revisit that incident and tell our viewers how exactly was it that she was saved, and what was that emotion that you felt when she said that why didn't you come earlier,
Yeah.
which was
Yeah.
the name of your book
Yeah,
eventually.
yeah, true.
आप पहले क्यों नहीं आए?
Why didn't you come sooner? So it was in a Rajasthani kind of dialect, Hindi. तू पहले क्यों नहीं आयो? That was her words. And whenever I feel about it, I feel that we as human race are not yet civilized. If one single child is in danger, how we can say that world is safe? If one single girl is left in slavery, how we can say that the world is free or democratic? There was an incident when I learned that some families have been kept in bonded labor in slavery at a illegally run stone quarry in Haryana. And that quarry was illegally run because it was essentially belonging to a very powerful family, political family,
yes.
the chief minister and minister, and one of the family members was a parliament member. So when we tried to approach the local authorities and tried to rescue them, no government official agreed to go there, and they completely denied that there is something like that. There is a illegally run quarry or there are slave laborers. So we had to plan overnight, and then we did some recce work in 2-3 nights, and then we realized that in the morning we can go and rescue those people. By the time we learned that there were children who were born and grew up there were their parents who were also born and grew up there, and their grandparents who have been enslaved were trafficked from Rajasthan to work in Haryana. So 3 generations. So that was a very, very risky, very, very dangerous situation, but I love these kind of operations. So me and my friends decided to go early in the morning, uh, knowing that this gunmen or the watchmen are not there in the morning. There was a man carrying the gun who could kill us, but he used to go to freshen up in the morning to the nearby village. So we went there and were able to rescue more than 50 children, women and men. We were having a truck, so all the adult people and grown-up children were put into the truck. And I was driving my car, big car. So younger children, 6, 7, 8-year-old, 10-year-old, I think 8 or 9 children were pulled into my car. And when we were driving fast, because if we are slow, then the word will go out and the people can come and kill us and snatched away the children. It has happened several times. My 3 colleagues have been killed. I mean, 2 were killed and 1 was died. So I was driving fast, and then I saw that all these children were under shock, traumatized. So I thought that there are some bunches of bananas lying in the back of the car. So I asked these children that who were sitting in the back seat that please eat these bananas and pass it on to the front row. So the child who was sitting in the back touched the banana bunch, but he didn't know what banana was. So he passed it on to the front seat. So children started looking at the banana and they started murmuring, what kind of onion is it? What kind of potato is it? They had no idea about banana or any other thing other than potato and onion since their childhood, since they were born.
They have not tasted.
So they do not understand. So then I insisted to eat it. I said, this is sweet, please eat it. So they started eating banana. And then I saw that some of them trying to eat it, some of them had no idea, so they was just putting in the mouth and throwing it away. And then suddenly I felt that how stupid was I. I did not teach them how to eat banana when they had no idea about banana. So I told them that please peel it and eat. So I taught how to peel it while I was driving with one hand and peeled one banana. And some of them started eating, but most of them threw it away because they had no taste of sweet. Then suddenly I felt a heavy hand. It was heavy because it was a hand of a child, 8-year-old child who was breaking stones with hammer. So her hand was like hammer. But when I looked at her, I could not express my feeling because so many emotions appeared on her face in one go. A sense of belongingness with the humanity, anger, deep sorrow, complaint, and some expectation. When she asked, "Kyun re? Tu pehle kaun nahi aayo?" That means, why didn't you come? Oh man, why didn't you come sooner? It was not just because of banana. She has seen that how her father was poked with bidis, burned with bidis, because he tried to stop, but he failed. He tried to stop the rape of his wife, this girl's mother. she has also seen that how her younger brother died in her lap because there was no medication. I knew this before, and I started crying. I could not hold myself. When she says, "Why didn't you come sooner?" That was not the question to me. That was the challenge to everyone who believe in constitution, in laws. That was the challenge to all those people who believe in any holy book, in any holy man, in any religion, humanity. This was challenge to everyone. Why didn't you come sooner? What stopped us? We can speak, we can write, we can do something, we can make complaints. Social media is in our hand. But what we need is connectedness, awareness, feeling, and action. And this is exactly compassion in my definition.
So for young activists, as you speak of taking action, doing something about it, what would be the, if I say something actionable from you, what would you suggest them if they want to come into this field and, in activism or in anti-human trafficking, what would be your suggestions to them?
Well, there's no training for it. I mean, there are training for social works, there are training schools and so on. But what I am simply saying that to be compassionate is not such a difficult thing. The only thing begins with, say, very simple thing. Think of being grateful to someone who have helped you during the day. It can begin with your parents, it could begin with your teacher, your friends, your siblings, whosoever, your neighbor, relatives. Even if we are sitting in a room, then we have to be grateful to all those workers, the laborers, the electrician, plumber, woodman, craftsman, those who have made this room or this house. We have to be grateful to all those who produce food so that we can survive, those who stitch our clothes which we are wearing. So, gratitude. Let us begin with developing the sense of gratitude. And that gratitude should lead to a sense of moral responsibility, that if we are grateful to our people who are surrounding us in our office, it could be our boss, it could be our junior, subordinate, we should be grateful to them also, because if I am sitting on a chair, if I am sitting in any position, it's not because of me alone, it is because of so many invisible, unknown people who are responsible for bringing me over here. So then we have to be thankful and we have to express our gratitude, and that will help in deepening and broadening our area of moral responsibility to others. And then we will feel that we have to take some action. Not words are not enough. So we should take some action. So in our surroundings, if we start feeling that we have some responsibility to others, we will become much more genuine activists than many of those who choose activism as career. Activism is to go to politics or to grab power eventually. I think a good activist is also a good human being, and every good human being is an activist.
So how did you stop yourself from all these thoughts? Did you ever think that politics could be the next step? Or
No,
I understand, because we have such leaders in India, we have examples like that. I'm not saying that that is bad, but did something like this come in your mind as well ever?
Yes, of course. I would say that none of us is free from politics. Either we are in active politics or in passive politics. I am in active politics. My active politics is not for the next election or for a position or power. My politics is for the next generations and all generations to come. I wanted to see that all generations, because what is the purpose of politics? Politics purpose is to serve the people, to do welfare for them, to ensure justice for them. That is the politics. That has lost the meaning, unfortunately. Politics means power hungriness, power grabbing, and so on. But my politics is simple, that we have to work for children and their children and their children, so that when we leave this world, we will leave with a sense that whatever we have done, I have made a little bit better this world.
Wonderful. While we come to the conclusion of this interview, I also wanted to ask, from your early childhood, from the days of you witnessing that cobbler's son, your first experience of inequality or injustice, if I may say, to Nobel laureate, and then all the way till now, has Kailash Satyarthi achieved what he wanted to?
Not yet. I never wanted to achieve anything for me.
Even for others, like.
So that is not achieved actually, and it's an ongoing struggle, ongoing fight. Some people agree, some people disagree, some people ignore, some people oppose, but the fight is on, the struggle is on. Of course, the very first day of my schooling was eye-opener for me when I saw a cobbler boy my age sitting right outside the school gate. And I felt bad or disappointed, and asked this to my teacher, my mother, other people. Everybody tried to convince me and told that it is not uncommon. The poor children have to help the families. But every day I was watching that child under the open sky, sometimes alone, sometimes with his father. So one day I gathered all my courage and stopped and asked it to both of them. The boy was shy. I was 5.5 years old, and the boy was my age, maybe 6 or so. So his father stood up with folded hands and he said, "Babuji, I never thought about it. मैंने तो कभी सोचा नहीं. My parents, grandparents, and I started working since we were children, and so is my son," he said. And then he took a pause and said, with utter miserability, hopelessness, helplessness, he said, "Babuji, you guys are born to go to school, but we are born to go to work." And it was such a shock, it was such a painful answer of him, but it was a very, very challenging question for me for rest of my life. And then I realized that something is wrong in the society. The divine cannot be so unjust. It is we who had created all these divisions and all these, castes and communities and this and that. We are all one. So that sense of oneness went so deep in me, but also a sense of urgency to take action, to do something. So that is still on, and that is the reason I have expanded my horizon of interventions and actions and advocacy, and launched this new Satyarthi movement for global compassion.
Great, sir. We wish you all the very best for this and for your future endeavors. Thank you very much for speaking to ETV Bharat. Best of luck.
My pleasure. Thank you.